Welcome to our seminar themed Stuff of Life. My name is Isimi Simitola. To begin with this seminar, I would like to call on Endowed for the opening prayer.
In Jesus' name. Father, we thank you for today. We thank you for bringing us all to this gathering. Father, cover this program with the blood of Jesus. Whatever we do shall be successful in the mighty name of Jesus. There shall be no problems in the mighty name of Jesus. Thank you, Lord, for answering these prayers in Jesus' name.
Next, I would like to invite to the podium Buchi Okoro for the opening remarks.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon to you all. And I'd like to welcome you all to this seminar, themed Stuff of Life. There are questions that generally bug us, questions we ask ourselves from time to time. One that is very key on my mind is the changes that we see in intensity of people over the years, over time, even in a day. Why is it? And these are the kind of questions that this seminar promises to answer. So I ask you all today to keep an open mind. Let go of your old mindsets and just be willing to accept change. And I'm sure you would have a great time, as I would. Thank you. You're welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ngozi Kekwe, and I'll be reading citation of one of our speakers. May I request that Ayola Oni stands as I read the citation? Ayola Oni was born in 1984 to a family of 4. He attended his early education in Supreme Education Foundation, and at the age of 15, he unlocked his passion for speaking, a talent he has since owned. Mr. Oni has a lot of achievements, one of which was being listed on the Forbes 30 under 30 list on winning the Entrepreneur of the Year award at the Future Awards for 2 years in a row. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a privilege to present to you the man of the hour, Ayola Oni.
So, I'll be calling on Jerry Omoluju to read the citation of the second speaker.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. May I kindly ask that Temiloluwa additional stand, please? Temiloluwa Additional was born into a small family. He attended Christ the Redeemer's College and is currently an undergraduate at Covenant University. He works in Reach for the Stars, where his mission is to create awareness for social entrepreneurship. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me welcome Mr. Temiloluwa Additional.
Next, I'll be inviting to the podium Victor Mibwala to take the citation for the third speaker.
She was born on 25th of May 1994 in Lagos. She has choreographed many dances, and of course she started dancing at a very young age of 7. She has helped the CU Reflections team to choreograph some of the dances for the KNU. She also is the founder of Fun House, a non-profit organization which helps young Nigerians discover their talents. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to introduce to you Ms. Sylvia Mbakalo.
My name is Tobechukwu Ekeopara. I'm your co-host for today. So, I'll be calling on Blessing Asokome to read the citation of the fourth speaker.
Good evening, everyone. I would be reading the citation for Mr. Ayowole Ayodele. I would like to request that he stands up. Mr. Ayowole Ayodele is the last from a family of 21. He was born on 15th of April, 1980. He is passionate about leadership and at a young age led the first youth peace movement in his hometown in Osun State. He graduated from Covenant University with a bachelor's in mechanical engineering. As a result of his passion for leadership, he went on to get a master's degree in psychology and a doctoral degree in political studies. He is a philanthropist, a motivational speaker, and runs the weekly Wednesday night show, Talk Back, where he gives young people a chance to air their views. He is married to a beautiful wife, and they are blessed with 7 children. Please let's welcome Mr. Ayowole Ayodele.
For the 5th speaker, I would like to call on Moin Alabi to read the citation.
Hello, everyone. With great delight and utmost joy, I would like to read the citation of one of our guest speakers, Sonia Nwosu. Please rise. Sonia Nwosu is a native of Imo State and was born on 1st September 1994 to a family of 5, which she is the 5th. Sonia is a born public speaker, and she started speaking publicly at the age of 8, speaking for her class and in social functions. She's a student of mass communication in Covenant University, and she has won 2 awards for behind the mic public speaking. Her hobbies include dancing and singing. She has opinion on everything. She lives her life based on a quote by Marianne Williamson. And after CU, she wants to dive into advertising. She wants to become a radio personality and open a children's home and make enough money to retire early. Make welcome with me, Sonia Nwosu.
I'll be calling on Faith Abubakar to read the citation of the moderator.
Good day, everyone. It is with great delight I read the citation of our moderator, Adeola Akeju. Please rise. Adeola Akeju is a native of Ondo State, was born on 26th of June 1992. She attained her first degree in industrial relations. She attained a second degree in journalism at the University of Camden, London. In this short period of time, she has acquired awards ranging from Best in Journalism and also the Best Graduate Student in the Department of Journalism. She is the founder of the weekly program In the Loop with Adeola, which is set to shape the mindset of youngsters. In Forbes' list of entrepreneurs to look out for, she ranks number 2. Join me, applaud Adeola Akeju.
At this juncture, I'll be handing over to Adeola Akeju to take us forward in this event.
Thank you very much, everyone. Once again, you're very welcome to this special show themed Stuff of Life. Here we discuss important issues of life. I'd like to thank all the citation readers for introducing us so warmly. And I'd also like to say welcome to all our distinguished guests. You all look very radiant and you're very welcome. On to the business of the day. Today we are gathered here to talk about stuff of life. Stuff of life, stuff of life. I'm sure many of you have been wondering, what exactly do we mean when we say stuff of life? Well, over time, we have come to identify some critical issues that border on every individual. These issues range from individuality, that is discovering your own person, talent, that is doing things with your hands, social entrepreneurship, giving back to the society. You have change, mentality, and otherwise. And then you have relationships. You all have to be involved in a relationship one way or the other. But good luck to you today. Because today, questions that you might have on these different sectors are going to be addressed, and we are going to go straight to that. First, we're going to be bordering on individuality, and this question is going to go to Mr. Ayola. Mr. Ayola, you're a very refined person, so I would like to find out, how did you find yourself? I mean, how did you become your own person?
Okay, thank you very much, Mrs. Akeju. Okay, fine. On finding myself, I had to undergo a rigorous tasking process. I had to block out external influences and reach into myself to find who I was. And now, it wasn't easy. You see, growing up, I was thrown into a class filled with people that were older than me and who seemed better than me. So I had the mentality that I had to be better, basically. So I did that by at first it was done by trying to appease those who seemed better than me, not working on myself. I just felt I wasn't good enough and I couldn't be good enough. So I did that, trying to appease those who were good enough. And then that took a while, 5, 6 years possibly. But then at the point I had to realize that, this can't work forever. I had big ambitions, and then it didn't fit. I didn't see it fitting into the box I had created for myself. So I had to sit down to say, boy, you have to get better. You cannot live your life under these people's influence. And then that happened. The process was painful. Some people had to go. Some friends were made, some friends were lost. But then at the end of the day, it made it better when I can see that I am my own individual now.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ayola. And also on that, it's really good that you have identified who you are and you're able to shape that out. Now, what advice do you have to people who have found themselves in societies or environments where they can't really be accepted for who they have chosen to be? For example, you want to be this, but then your societal pressure, let me put it that way, doesn't agree with that.
Okay, now, so societal pressure is it's one of the most influential external forces on individuals, that is after peer pressure. And now, when I say societal pressure, it means what this society says. And now, this might not be spoken out loud, but then things that it frowns upon. Like now, in our society, for example, the society frowns against homosexualism. Now, I'm not encouraging that, but I'm saying, if for example, that was also frowned upon, and then you find yourself in the area, that is societal pressure for you, for example. Now, if in being a person, you are not accepted by society, my advice to you is do you. Now, there are cases of people throughout history who, at first, they were not accepted. Who, at first glance, they thought they were crazy. You probably use that word. They were reprimanded by all forms of authority, their family, their friends, their spouses, only for them to stick to it, stick to their guns, stick to the principles that they believed in, stick to the reason. That's in doing this, you have to be true to yourself. You don't have to be true to whatever next person says. Don't worry dad says, don't worry mom says. Stick to what you are. So in doing this, they became the diamond that they were meant to be, and because of that, society clamored for their attention. Take, for example, the actor on Game of Thrones, Tyrion Lannister. Now, I can bear at his young age when he told his parents that, Mom or Dad, I want to be an actor. And now, I'm sorry, but dwarves are not the greatest fans in society, great people in society. So when he said that, they probably be like, boy, what are you trying to do? Not to bring shame to this family. But look at him now, a couple of years down the road, and then he's making it. He's an A-list actor, and he can say and look and society now wants his attention. So yes, since being who you are, you need to shut out societal pressure. You need to make sure that you do not fall a victim to that kind of pressure.
Applause for Mr. Ayola. Thank you very much for that answer. And also on finding yourself, dealing with the society, and you also have to have something that you're going to use to. When you identify yourself, you have to have something. And then this would border on talent, which is another issue that we'd like to address today. So we're going to be moving on to Ms. Sylvia Mbakalu. Sylvia, is it possible, or do you believe that everyone has a talent?
I believe everyone has a talent. When I was much younger, my siblings, my younger ones started exhibiting one talent or the other. So my parents gave up on me. So they almost gave up on me. They thought, son doesn't have talent. But with time, I discovered my talent. And I've read on people who, when they were much younger, they didn't have talents. And with time, they discovered theirs. So I believe everyone has a talent. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to Sylvia for that answer. That's a very interesting story. Thank God you discovered your talent and early enough. Okay. Now, for some people that have not been able to identify their talent, and then they actually don't believe that they have a talent. How do you feel that they can find their talent? You're a very good example of this at a younger age. Even your parents didn't think you had talent, but then you were able to find it. So what advice do you have for other people in this situation?
Okay. First, for you to find your talent, I think you should either go down memory lane to find out those things you loved doing when you were much younger, and from that you might discover what you're interested in, you might discover your talent. Or another thing you can do is try different things. You never know if you can do something if you don't try it out. So you have to try your hands on different things. Take for example, Messi, the footballer. He didn't just wake up one morning and become great at what he didn't just wake up one morning and notice he could play ball. He tried it, then he saw he could do it, was good at it, and he was interested in it. And there are many other examples. The Nigerian dancer, she's one of the best dancers in Nigeria. She didn't wake up one morning also thinking she could dance. She also tried it out. She saw she was interested in it and she was good at it. And she became a professional dancer by maximizing her talent. She worked on it. And Messi also, he worked on his own talent. He became better at what he was good at. And now he's making money from it. Kev is also making money from it. So I believe when you can discover your talent by either going down through memory lane, talking with your friends, talking to your parents, then one way or the other, they might help you by pointing you in the right direction, or you yourself might just discover it by just thinking on it and trying out different things. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Wonderful answers, wonderful answers. So ladies and gentlemen, you have heard it yourselves. Try something new today. And also, some time ago, I was doing some research on people who had talent and people who, bordering on talent, who did things that they really loved and who loved what they did. And then I came across some social entrepreneurs. And I'd like Mr. Temi to shed more light on social entrepreneurship. So Temi, please, can you tell us what social entrepreneurship really is?
Thank you, Diola. For social entrepreneurship, I would rather like to discuss this from perspective of a social entrepreneur. That helps us better encapsulate the whole concept of social entrepreneurship. So for a social entrepreneur, I believe is someone who I can describe as a change maker or say an innovator. Why I say this is not just about the new fresh ideas the person is bringing to the table or anything like that, but it's more about value-based trade. A social entrepreneur is someone who sees a problem in society and has this drive and wants to solve this problem. The person wants to create a new pattern. Someone who has value-based traits. For people to drive and follow you along your wave of change, they want to see more than the idea. They want to see how committed you are and how dedicated you are to bringing change to that problem that you see around you. That's what I can describe as a social entrepreneur.
Thank you very much for enlightening us. I came across this rumor that youths don't have a part to play in social entrepreneurship. What do you have to say concerning that? Because I'm a youth and I like to know.
So, about youths in social entrepreneurship, as research shows that we find 5% of youths who are actively, Involved, yes, thank you. Involved in society, and 95% were less active in society as well. What we tend to see in that 5% is that we see kids who, at a very young age, their parents give them this room to take initiative. So when they were in schools or when they were at home, you didn't find people doing things for them. You found them taking initiative by themselves in society. They took up problems. They tried to solve those problems. But for the 95%, you find these kids are. You find out that these kids are people who adults do a lot of things for them when they are at home or in school. You find out that they do things and they say, "Oh, okay, you guys are not capable of doing these things, and let's handle it for you." So you see that problem is that when these guys are taking those initiatives, they are building three things called, which I describe as empathy, teamwork, and leadership. So those three skills help people survive in society. They help people create the change that we want to see in society. So we see more in 5% than in 95%. So that's where you really have the problem about youths being less active in society.
Thank you. As you've shed more light on how youths don't have this because of their limiting factor, and I'd also like to ask that what role does a limiting environment have to play? And limiting not just, we're not talking about the youths who have people doing things for them. I'm talking about environments where, for instance, they don't have lights or they don't have resources, things like that. How can that affect social entrepreneurship? Please shed more light on that.
So for environments, we see that, say for like I described about adults in society limiting these guys to stop to be innovators and to be social change makers as well. But when it comes to things like what you said, like limited resources, we find out that these things tend to be more of a catalyst than a limiting factor. They help to create what we call innovative fixes. I'll describe it in a word called jugaad. Jugaad is an Hindu word for a creative fix, and it means that to me, I really like to describe it as creativity born out of adversity. So where we really find real creativity or ingenuity is really in adversity. So it brings out this originality in us that we use to solve problems.
Round of applause for Mr. Temi. Thank you. So you've heard it today. When you have an obstacle, you will be forced to jump. Now we're on to another topic, another issue that is both interesting, controversial, and important to every one of us, and that is relationships. So we're going on to Miss Sonia. Now, one of the questions that I came across in my interaction with people was the issue of contact without contamination. Now, I'd like to ask you, is it possible to have contact without contamination when relating with people?
Well, it's not possible to have contact without contamination. I would like to give an example, because I want to say that contamination could come in different forms. Two people are in a relationship, a guy and a girl. Now, this guy doesn't like to spend, and the girl is very generous. So every time they go out, the guy says, "Oh, do you have cash on you?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, I do." And she brings out cash, and then she pays for the meal. She brings out cash, she buys everything, and not once has this guy spent on her. And she realizes that every time he comes out, he always either forgets his wallet or his ATM is not functioning. Something always happens. And she realized that with time, she started withdrawing. Oh, do you have cash? No, I don't have cash. I didn't bring my purse or something. And then both of them are just staring at themselves, hungry or something like that. Now, he didn't directly stop her from doing whatever it is that she wanted to do, but she became contaminated in the sense that she started holding back, and then she started lying about it. So it wasn't even about being stingy. Now it was about her indulging in falsehood. So that way she was contaminated. His behavior contaminated her. So yes, you can't. It's not possible. Sorry, no, it's not possible for you to be in a relationship and not be contaminated. It's not possible.
Thank you very much. That illustration really strikes some memories. Also, we're talking on, okay, as you've said, it's not possible to have contact without contamination, and then you have people around you who also have these attributes. But then, for example, you have a classmate, you really can't get out of that situation. You always have to interact with that person. I mean, how do you build healthy relationships, and how do you say no to the ones that you're really not supposed to be in?
Okay. We'll always come across people that we don't just like. It's something that I've come to realize. There are certain people we just won't be able to stand. It's not like there's something wrong with them. You guys don't just connect. It's normal. Now, how to build a healthy relationship would be to try and tolerate somebody. You have to be tolerable yourself, and you have to be tolerant. Now, tolerable in the sense that people have to be able to tolerate you, and you must be tolerant in the sense that you must be able to tolerate somebody else's behavior, because what one man's meat is another man's poison. So basically, it's all about tolerance. You have to be able to stand and say, okay, for the time that I will be with this person, I don't have to be, when I have to meet you, I'm going to greet you. When I have to meet you, I'm going to talk to you like a mature person. Doesn't necessarily mean you have to take in everything the person says, because there are some people that will just, we have those annoying people that just walk into your room and try to mess up the place or try to do something. We have those friends of our siblings that just come and then they think everything in the house belongs to them. We have those annoying family relations that only come when there's food, and you have to clean up after them, and then the next time they're coming and they're not just taking away food, they're taking other things. Oh, are you guys still using this generator? The microwave, are you still using it? And these things are annoying, and they're your family, so you cannot do without having to communicate with them. Now it's for you to be able to tolerate them, and then also stand your ground. When you say no, let no mean no. And if say somebody, you have a friend that eats a lot, and you are trying to help the person stop eating, and every time you are eating, the person is like, I want to eat, or I have to do this, I have to do that. You tell the person, no, I'm not giving you my food again. Don't ask me because I won't give you. And you have to stand your ground when you are doing that. Even if you're going to give every other person around, let that person know this is the reason why I'm doing this. So basically, you have to be tolerant, you have to be tolerable, and then you have to approach everything with maturity.
Thank you very much. So, you've heard it from her: be tolerant, be tolerable, act with maturity, and act with reason. Thank you so much. That was enlightening you on relationships. We're going to be going to our last issue that came up, and that is change. Mentality change, Nigerian change. And we're going to be asking Mr. Wale to shed more light on this. So we'll be asking you the very first and most important question: are we reducing in intensity? I mean, the way we go about things, are we not as fervent as we used to be? Please shed more light on this.
Yes, I would say so. I would say our intensity has dropped over the last couple of decades. And then if you ask me why, I guess it's because we have stopped seeing the constraints, or like you mentioned, adversities. So our ingenuity is not coming out anymore. We have refused to do, great feats, do great things. We just, lay low and just let things happen anyhow, because we have stopped seeing the constraints. And it seems to us like today things are, really rosy. Everything is fine, but we have not seen what the real problems are. And the reason for this is due to ignorance. We are not very knowledgeable about things that are happening. So we just believe everything is fine, and in actual truth, it isn't.
Thank you very much. I do agree with all you've said. I mean, I carried out a survey recently on how aware people are about political activities around them and even generally activities around them. And I found out that a large percentage of people do not know what is going on around them. And so, Mr. Wale, I'd like to just find out, what do you think we can do? And finally, what do you think we can do to solve this problem of dropping intensity?
It's really difficult because the only thing we can do is to change. And then, in truth, I cannot change anybody. I can't change you, and you can't change me. The only person that can change you or me would be you or me. Now, I have an instance of what things have been happening today. You know, everyone on Twitter, Facebook, all around, you see different campaigns. Even in school, back when I was in school, let me give you first instance of I can defend my grade. The campaign started, I can defend my grade. There were pictures taken. Back then I took a lot of pictures and all of that. In fact, we watched a video on it that particular day. We watched a video, and then later on that day we had a test in class. And then, so do this, blah, blah, blah. And then you see students brought out their iPods, some of them even their laptops, copying friends, and all of that. A student in the class took an excuse from the lecturer and went to the board and wrote, "I can defend my grade." Everyone saw it and laughed, but guess what? They continued copying. So really, what can you do for that kind of person? Like, the campaign is everywhere. You've put the word out. I have another instance with this whole tribalism thing. If you look at the results of the elections that just passed, you would see like what tribalism is really about. You see the presidential election results. If you go to maybe places like Rivers, in Rivers we had 1.4 million votes going to President Goodluck Jonathan, and just 69,000 people voted for Buhari, which is the president-elect. In Katsina also, we had 1.9 million people voting for Buhari and just 90,000 people voting for Jonathan. It's impossible for you to tell me that many people really believe in those two people. It's just a case of, oh, this guy is from our place, let us vote him there, which is really bad because we are not putting people there for the right reasons. And then, by reason of this, I feel this is why a CU alumni started a campaign on tribalism, and then it was tagged Nigerian. So, you know, everywhere Nigerians send a picture, puts the picture Nigerian to say no to tribalism, that we are not Igbo people, we are not Yoruba people, we are Nigerians. So one day, very funny situation, someone tweeted Anambra people, another person quoted it, great people. Then a third person quoted that tweet and put those people that drive dustbin trucks. Now, someone else quoted that tweet and put what happened to, in quotes, Nigerian. Why did he say this? I was really interested, so I was following the thread. And then I checked the avatar of the boy that said, those people that drive trucks. And then on this picture there, you see the Nigerian thing. Like, this is really terrible because that means this boy knew about what was happening. He knew the whole Nigerian campaign. In fact, he was following it. He had it on, and then he just showed what tribalism was about. So why would you just say Anambra people are people that drive trucks? So it's really terrible because there's really nothing I can do for that kind of person. There's really nothing you can do for that kind of person because the person that came up with the initiative has really done his best. So at the end of the day, we are the only ones that can change ourselves. So if we can, look into some of these things here and there, I think the future would be better for all of us.
Thank you so much, Mr. Wale. That was very, very enlightening. Ladies and gentlemen, we have finally come to the end of this talk session, and I'm sure we have learned a lot. We've bordered topics on individuality, talent, social entrepreneurship, change, and relationships. And as you have heard, The change begins with you. If you don't change yourself, nobody can change you. Relationships, learn to build better relationships, learn to give to the society. You're a youth and the world depends on you. On individuality, learn to be your own person, and you can always find your talent. There is something in you that somebody out there wants to see. I'm sure we've had a wonderful time, and at this point we'll be handing over to the moderator. Till next time.
Welcome back. Next on the program is question and answer. If you have a question, please come forward.
Good day, everyone. My name is Oluwatoyin Fashola. My question is directed to Ms. Sonia. You said contamination. There's no relationship without contamination. Are you saying we should not have relationships, or are we saying we should avoid all, or we should, if we're being food, we should accept the? Do you get what I mean? We should accept all the, or we should, yeah. That's.
First, I want you to understand that I'm still standing on there's no relationship without contamination. Now, when you say contamination, it's basically trying to say that is it possible for you to be in a relationship and not get influenced? I think influence would be a better word to describe describe the answer, or to describe the question, basically. Now, it's I'm not saying do not be in a relationship. I'm not saying influences can be good. It's just that you have to be able to filter what you accept from people. Because okay, I can give you a true story. I have a friend who writes. I write, and I stopped writing for a while. Then I met this person, and then we started talking. And after a while, I realized when I read the things that he writes, I want to write and I want to do better than what I've seen him do. His writings inspired me to want to write better. So that was a relationship that influenced me to want to be a better person. Well, when the question basically was put in a negative light, but then I'm now saying that you can be influenced, but you have to accept what type of influence you want in your life. If somebody is influencing you negatively, it's time for you to leave that relationship and run while you still have the chance, or you regret what you would become, and then you end up resenting who that person made you be, and resenting the person for making you who you are. So I hope I've been able to answer your question.
Next question.
Hello, my name is Jessica. This question is directed to Mr. Wole. All right, he spoke about intensity and change and all of that, and how we have reduced in our level of intensity. So please, how would you advise the president now? What would be the best way for him to make a kind of change in our country?
I don't fully understand your question. Are you asking how the president can increase our intensity or change our question? Because those two ways, they are totally different. The first question is a political question. What policies can he implement to improve the level of our country economically and all of that? So that's what you mean. Okay, there are various sectors he could touch. First of all, the agricultural sector, because looking at for our economy today, our economy seems to be improving, but look at the price of dollars in naira, which has greatly increased over the last couple of years, and this is because our foreign exchange we're only focused on one thing, which is oil. And then that just makes our economy totally dependent on what is happening in the oil markets. So if we could actually divert into different other, go into different other things, agriculture, other mineral resources, cocoa, granite and all of that, that would really improve. And then in job creation, so doing things like digressing into other different areas in the economy will also create more jobs, and then youth empowerment, several other sectors. But I cannot really cover all of this now because we're really running out of time. So you can meet me after this whole thing, and then I'll be able to explain to you properly. Thank you very much.
Next question.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Onoshaga Toluwabere. My question is directed to Ms. Sonia. Okay. You spoke on relationship without contamination, but you really shed light on it in the negative, side of it. Like, my question is it possible for there to be positive contamination? Like, I'd like you to speak on that. Thank you.
Well, your question is similar to the first question I was asked, and I would reiterate and say again that it's better to use influence, because when you say contaminate, it's like it's heading towards the negative side. If I'm going to use the word influence, I'll say it's possible to be in a relationship and be influenced positively. And if you recall, I gave the example of the writing, me wanting to write better because I met someone who writes really good. So it's just left for you to filter whatever it is that is coming your way and decide you want to be influenced positively. Thank you.
Next question.
Hello, everyone. God's will. My question is for Sylvia. For any professional, I believe you should need publicity. I want to know how you go about publicizing yourself as a dancer, and then I would like you to dance for us. Thank you.
I have a public relations officer who helps me publicize both online and everywhere and offline. I've not really gone far, but I'm on my way. But I have somebody that will. You can always get one if you want. There are many people around that are interested in becoming publicists, so you can always get somebody and talent manager. So you can always get somebody to do that. Just have the money to pay. Thank you. And the dancing part, there's no music, so I'm not going to dance. Thank you.
We, Team Sold Out, would like to present to you a video. I'll be calling out Favor Abubakar to introduce this video to you. A round of applause.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm sure you're excited to be here. The video you're about to see will shed more light on the theme, Stuff of Life. So please sit back and enjoy. Thank you.
Let me welcome our category lead, Abigail.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Abigail Shimizi, and it really is a privilege to be standing before you this evening. I really appreciate all that you people have done. I mean, it took a lot of guts to be here at this time, under such circumstances. I really have been enlightened by all that I have heard this evening. And I'm quite sure that everyone who has to walk out of this place this evening will leave here with so much power in their hands to take on whatever circumstances their lives are faced with, especially in terms of individuality, giving back to society, changing your mindset in your relationships, even if you have no talent and it looks like there's no place for you anywhere in the world. I know you'd have left here, or you will leave this place a much, much better person. I'd like to, should I say give a shout out? No, it's not necessary. But I'd like to say thank you to all of you guys for having me. Do that great work. You guys are doing a great job. Thank you so much.
To conclude this program, I would like to invite Oyinda Ogumbi to give the vote of thanks.
I would like to thank the facilitator of this program for this awesome seminar. And I hope we have all learned different things about issues surrounding our theme, stuff of life. From talent on to relationship matters, to social entrepreneurship, to change and individuality. Also, I'd like to thank the audience and everyone who made this seminar possible. Thank you very much.
Let's welcome Folusho for the closing prayer.
Dear Lord, we thank you for everything you did for us today. We thank you that this program went on successfully. And we thank you that because we know we've all been enlightened. But I give you all the glory and adoration because you brought us to the end of this program. Give you all the glory and adoration in Jesus' name I pray.
Okay, who quote?